me and look it into the eye. That is where the being knows I am best of that never have used to. Be like Shiv. Destroy the ego, destroy the fear. And then Shiv also is the epitome of renunciation. Epitome. Now, what is renunciation? Does renunciation mean leave everything and run away? That's not renunciation. That's cowardice. Renunciation also doesn't mean leaving something that you never had. Because if you never had it, how can you leave it? Renunciation is having it, but not being obsessed by it. Its presence, having it, but not being possessed by it. Shiv is the epitome of the most graceful lover. He loves Parvati like no man in this land. I don't anything. Yeah. And yet, be the perfect Purush. He also in his perfect meditative state. That is how to renunciate, not by rejecting it, not by being angry on people. Do have love for them. Do have kindness for them. Acquire the wealth of the world and successes of the world, but don't be possessed by it. Don't be obsessed by it. Then you will dance and understand why its true meaning. And that's a beautiful lesson we all can learn from Shiv. Then Shiv has the ultimate protection to hold good and bad at the same time. And still be the content and less and blissful energy. How? The wave of the Ganga falls to its jada, the earth. The wave of water, not just water, life force. He's holding that, but he's also holding the poison of the world. How does he do it? He gives the life force to others and doesn't let the negativity go with it. That's how you have the potential to be good and manage the bad. Be good by being good to others. There's no point in not being good to yourself. Because if you see yourself as it, then what are all of these other manifestations? We are all the same consciousness. So being good to that which is not just in this body, being good to other souls, being good to other existence. Share. The life force is not for himself. The life force is to bless us all. The greatest of human beings are not those who hold. The greatest of human beings are those who know how to share. The greatest of human beings are not those who knew how to conquer at the expense of everyone. The greatest human beings were the ones who conquered all others and everything. People be that's it. That's the potential. And for negativity, do not be with them. When somebody does do something that is not good for your soul, don't take it. Don't give them any more power than they have. That's true for all negativity and everything has space, even for a bad incident. Yeah, sometimes we fail in life. So what? Failure and success is part of the same coin. If you are an action, there will be success, there will be failure. But if you take the pain of failure within you, you will then be clouded by depression, despondent. You don't want to rise up and see the next day and work the next day. So let it pass. It's an event. Learn from it, but don't be consumed by it. And so is also true for peace. When you're bringing, learn and pass on the ways to others, but don't get consumed by it because next time you won't be able to take the right action. The wind will cloud your judgment and there is no action. So Shiv has the protection. And then Shiv is the Lord, is the soul, reverberating with Shakti, the oneness of this entire universe. He sees the manifestation growing and having the power, the sun shining, not the sun collapsing, the planet saving life, but the planet seeing destruction. Human beings bringing in life, but then taking another form down to and taking, and he has the awareness that the pure consciousness will that the soul continues to vibrate, that we all are that energy that will never die, that Shakti, that Lalita, that Nita, that will always live. Shiv is the knower. Shiv can see through the lies and find the truth. That's Shiv. So always remember in the eternal nature of possible, in the eternal nature of life, in the eternal nature of the consciousness, the Atma sitting within you. And so combining the Shakti Shiv Vishnu Bharat, if you have childlike innocence of the mother, you will be playful like Krishna and you will destroy the ego action. Just see how it flows in a beautiful line. If you are accepting of your roles, roles that you will be in somehow, you will be in the state of it's okay. The pleasure and pain will come with different roles. And you will pronunciate because you are playing those roles without being attached to them. If, like Mother Divine, you can look and take in the projection of your manifestation within you, you will have the wisdom of Vishnu. You will have the knowledge of Vishnu. And then you will have the potential of holding everything together. And then it's like Shakti, you don't have the devotion. Despite Shakti being the Kara Shakti, the Adi Shakti, she still reverberates in Bhakti. You will have the Karma Yoga like Vishnu, and you will know your relatives and know the life of the population. So when you keep the triad within you, remember each day, tell yourself each day, remind yourself in moments of respondents as well as happiness and sorrow of these lives will flow through this and in peace. For the yogi, there are common stories. There was a yogi, he was sleeping very nicely under a tree. And a king came and was very disturbed by the fact that sannyasi is just like on a floor under the tree. So he said, I will take you to the mahal. Come with me. So the yogi said, I am helpless. I don't want to go. So the king was infuriated. He said, no, but you know, there are many, many beds and it's very comfortable, it's very nice. And what is so peaceful? You come and come with me. The yogi said, I am fine. I am in bliss. I am in more peace than you are. And more peace than you will ever be. Now he got triggered. And he said that, okay, you think you are at peace, I'm going to put you in prison. And he chained the yogi and up and down in prison. And he left the yogi for 3, 4, 5 days. And then he went back. And the yogi was a meditative thing. So he again asked, now you know what pain is. He said, I know what more pleasure is. Now there is no disturbance here. There is not any more. I'm more with Shiv, I'm more with Shakti, I'm more meditative. I'm thinking, I don't want to go anywhere else. And that is when the king completely bows down in serenity. And it sees that my role of finding pleasure in the niceties of the world was not wrong. It's a role that I play for the elixir of peace and bliss is not in the external world. No matter you are in prison or under or under you transcendence, living in the rock things, whatever that might be, your internal state is unchanged, you are really okay. And if you practice this Shakti, Vishnu, Shivaya, and remember the attributes, you are going to see a sea change in how you feel on a daily basis. Life is really beautiful, and we are blessed to have the existence of seeing each other, of loving each other, of holding each other, of curiosity, of knowledge, of finding meaning, of going through sounds and scenes. It's beautiful to be able to sing or to be able to not sing, to be able to hear and not to be able to hear. Life in every form is beautiful and must be celebrated. And you must be proud of your existence. Your mother divine wants you to be proud of the leader of which you are a part of all the mechanics of the lead, eternal kids. You are here in one form and you will be there in another form. But you will be always your eternal. all of it being done for the purpose. So I'm so happy and so glad that all of you came here on a Friday evening, one that is, I think, speaking or moving to politics. And on Kalpana's efforts, we all could come and sing the glory of Shakti, enjoy the story of Vishnu and the learnings, and feel Shiv. My blessings to all of you. May all of you have a lot of happiness, a lot of reasons to rejoice. May you all find health, happiness, success, bliss, peace in your life. May you all achieve your goals and really find the larger purpose for your existence. May your work and your presence benefit those around you and the world. Namaskar, Priti Bhagavate, Har Har. So beautiful. So I just went to the last. I don't know what after this year, the part of the class. Namaskar. I just wanted to ask, sir, we said that we have lived our own country. So we said that we have to live in our own country. You are doing best ours further now, right? But then there are people who don't want to be in the own further. And as you mentioned that you look into yourself and if somebody is not seeing your worth, but sometimes you're not worthy also. So when you think, okay, I've seen my own worth of others not um, acknowledging it, are you giving permission to yourself that you're always right? One thing. And the second is when you want to give your best. And when you see that other people around you who are not doing their best, you feel the pain. You know, sometimes then you have to draw a boundary, but that boundary also is causing you pain. Because you want to do your best, but you don't see that coming, reciprocation coming. So you stop giving your best with a lot of pain. So how does that work? So first of all, my question is if you are doing your own term and if somebody else's feedback is not important to you, then you will not start thinking that you're right. Right? That was what you said. No, yeah, sorry. You, the other person or other people are not taking the one who you want to do, and it's painful to see that they cannot give their potential back, though they have the full potential to do it. So they are not doing it, and you feel pain for that. Instead of feeling angry, you feel pain. So, no, it doesn't mean that you don't have other people being better versions of themselves. Then very, very ways we do that. Sometimes we do that in ways, but I think register with the other person, our feedback with our structure. Practically, we make devise strategies and ways in which we enable our person to do their best. Provided if we are wish to see them performance coming from a really good intention. Because a lot of the time it's also coming from a space I know this. And I'm not saying that this is your experience, but a lot of the people, other person is working, they're doing well, they're taking the feedback, they're also trying to change, but they are not exactly performing in the way you want them to perform in an exact definition. So there's a little bit of effort one needs to put in their own self, that are these expectations that are coming from them really for their best, or we are wanting them to become outflows. If we are wanting that, then it should be an internal thing. But it it doesn't mean that you don't give feedback to someone. But there's a limit in which feedback can be given and a boundary can be set, even in jobs, even in roles that people play. And just keep providing feedback to somebody who's not listening, they are not working, they know you may need to try something else. That doesn't mean you are taking away from their potential. It just means that you are not obsessing over it to the point that you lose what you can do best in that moment. You provide, and that for you doesn't mean that you shouldn't be guiding others, but it means that there is a clear balance between guidance and in your own action. Like there has to be a balance between the two. If you're queuing towards one, and as you said, that when others are not working, even our in work goes down because we feel that they are letting us down by not performing, which means it has hampered your work, which means it has hampered your progress, and thereby gives you even more pain than when you started. So that's why formulating in that balance is important. So, we are, I'm not talking about our progress, they are not progressing because of their own nature. So you can give them feedback, you can give them understanding, but to each their own. At the end of the day, what best we can do is provide everybody with a means of improvement, but we can't target over them and make them better versions when they are not ready to see. Maybe they are in a different kind of journey, maybe something in their life we do not know much about. Maybe there are other issues that are happening to them. Each one has their own set of challenges from this one and many, many lives particularly. So why you would want them to instantaneously improve in that moment? You may try making it do so, but when it is not giving the kind of results, then tackle your piece and their piece at the same time. It's better to give them the resources and see that it's struggling. Try and find out more reasons of why they are not able to give the best attention that you are seeing in them and try. But if it still doesn't work, then it's important to set a boundary because otherwise it leads into a space of people not being and just moving away the focus from improvement is one tendency being for the person who's trying the other one to improve and for the other individual also who feels that probably they have the boundary. It's all interactions, it's all internal work. So when you listen to anything that makes you feel good, whatever one thing resonated with you, start with that and start from that corner of it and work on it. Because the work always has to be internal. It can never be external. A lot of the people say that once you found a spiritual master, you found happiness. Well, that's just the first corner of the daily job that you do. Held on. They can give you knowledge to apply it to your own life. And then you may have other questions, another curiosity. You come back with that, and you can find very little answer working for you, and then you work through that. So each one of us really has to understand where our boundaries are. If you think of equal Vedanta philosophy, it says that either we are all beings of devotion, or we are beings of karma, or we are beings of jnana, where each one of us has elements of form, but a predominant, tree life within us. So the work has to start really good. It's hard to say that you need a fitness coach and they give you exercises to get fit. You really like what you say and you get the diet to work for yourself and you really understand how to put that happen. Who has to follow you? You have to. So to get into the state of bliss is a constant work. And life is constant work, so is that constant work until it is. which means that you will reach the statement point where it really becomes problematic, where it becomes like when that happens, you will have to invite the lessons and work in your day-to-day life in your processes. Because to each their own, every manifestation of a human life has very different challenges, struggles, desires, home partners that are coming from Raya, which is your past life, and coming to the time today. So then you apply the lesson in your particular vasana and desires and home partner. Till the time you are not free from desire, you either accomplish or the desires, or you are in the process of accomplishing your desires but not slave. So the work has to be very internal. The knowledge is external, you take it internal, then you go further, and then you get into a state where you develop your own. How in the modern business you because since you deal with gravel, you can find a fitness data and you go to the fitness system, what is it? And the one point get uh, go this kind of thing. So they who wants to trying for one goal or six. Okay, let's go to some other fitness. So there how do you learn that you train yourself? I have to stick to it. And of course, the thoughts keeps coming. Thought is the process which never stops. Yeah, well, that's a very good question. I have myself somebody who looks after my health, Nawaz, that is. And every time I want a samosa, which is not allowed in my current diet, she reminds me that Mataji, you will have samosa, but then you will also have X, Y, Z, right? So in your process of spiritual bliss also, every time you feel bored and want to go away from that moment of work on it, just look at what the other side is. It's pain, it's despondency, it's jealousy, it's anger, it's agitation, and all of that. So you come back to choose lesser of the two things. This is boring, maybe. Hard work is boring, but then it keeps you in good health in case if I eat right. Similarly, spiritual work is not easy. It's never going to be easy because it's one thing to say that somebody says, "Oh, Mataji," say if you get up and say, "Mataji, you're looking so bad," right? That's a statement that one can make. Now, it's one thing to say it's okay, it's with you, and it's completely another to practice it. But if I actually keep practicing it, who's getting happier and healthier and more close to what true life is me? And yes, it's going to get boring at times, and yes, it also will feel very challenging at times. And why don't others understand what I'm forcing myself to understand? But hey, this is your life. We all can lead a life where we are very unhealthy. There are people who unfortunately suffer from bad health, sometimes because of their own issues, and sometimes because bad health happens. Leaving the latter aside, and there are people who work on their health day in and day out to keep themselves fit, not looking at the other person. So while a chole bhature is very nice, but you know that it will impact your health, and if it's not in moderation. Similarly for life's partner, similarly for other issues. Others may be dark and deep in pleasure. It's fine. It's for their life and their journey. But if you know that it eventually hurts and pains your soul more, then you work on it. So the what can be is not going to be ever your motivation. What is and how you are progressing in it. Like a weight watcher, when they see them lost 500 grams, or for somebody who's bulking up their muscles, they see that, or for a max graduate who's cracked a new formula, that's the high. And that keeps them growing. So also keep track of your small spiritual progresses. Say, for instance, you avoided a conflict. Remember that. Make note of it, how it made you feel afterwards, if there was any residual pain, what was that, and process it and move forward. So then it becomes part of your system. Then it just becomes something that you practice. But it'll be hard work and it'll require nudges from time to time. And as they say that when you practice spirituality, you again go back to your spiritual master or whoever you think can provide you with that guidance and get more questions and more answers so that you evolve further because every life will pose challenge, will pose a different questions. And you may need different answers or different interpretations of why that is happening. One last question. Yeah. How do you teach us to attain moksha? I mean, look into today's scenario, today's modern life. Uh, I don't know how one goes to that moksha, but how would you define it? Yeah, there are many views to it. Some people think moksha is something that it happens to you after your life. While the state of Vedanta says that moksha is in the moment, that you are, if you are in present with yourself, not agitated, not unhappy in your karma, you are doing the best, you are already in that state. The idea is to maintain that state no matter what. And if you flow in the present in somehow, you will be in that state. Again, it's not an event that will happen to you. Just like we were talking about Karma Yoga, that win is not something that happens to you in a moment. It's a constant process for which you work hard. Similarly, to get at the stage where no human being is different than you, where you feel that you can see others' pleasures and pains as you can see yours, and look beyond it to be in the state of moksha, that will be a constant work towards it. And it for some people, it may take 3 months of getting into that stage. For some people, 30 years. For some people, 3 days. It's still work, and it's not something that you can find and run to externally. It really depends on what your internal state of life is at the time. It really depends on how much you are committing to be in that state and how much are you wanting to be in that place and your practice. And it's a transition that happens internally, because in Sanatan, we believe that moksha is something that you do not seek externally. It is within you. The oneness is within you. And at any time can be that time where you feel salvative. Like for my guru, Swami Shardanand Giriji Maharaj, he went in one of the worst possible illnesses ever. His life force went in one of the worst possible illnesses ever, and his body was cut from all over, eye socket removed, black fungus, taking over the body. And every time a doctor would come and ask him, Swamiji, how are you? And he would say, I'm fine. The blood would be easing, the pus would be coming, the eye socket would be there, and they would ask, how are you? He said, I'm fine. How are you? You are treating so many patients. You are doing so much for me as well. Are you okay? Is there something I can do for you? And the doctors would be amazed. They thought that, it may be that it's one off, but he stayed in the hospital for 87 days. In that state, was getting worse and worse, but his mental state unchanged. That's moksha, that's living moksha. Yeah, because the body state did not affect his soul state. And that happens, but it only happens to people who really want to seek it and be imbibed in it. And that comes with, yes, spiritual master and knowledge, but still, knowledge is knowledge. You have to work on it on a daily basis and remove the impurities of the mind slowly. Attachment and detachment. Attachment, detachment is one, karma yoga is another. The ability to see life force in everyone and to really not hold the I so sacred, the I that is the ego I, and taking the I that is the consciousness I, the most sacred, which is the same. So for a yogi, the asking of the question from you and the answering of the answer from me is actually the same. It's an eternal dialogue, because they wouldn't see this as two individuals talking to each other, right? So you get into that state. Ego from the I. Yeah. Hi. Mataji, thank you for a beautiful presentation. I just have one question for you. How do we maximize our potential? Beautiful question. So, maximization of potential happens on all of the things that I talked about today. Most of that needs to be practiced. Firstly, believing yourself to be able to do the purpose that you are set out for in life, disconnecting yourself from your internal and external biases, doing the work that it takes, taking the feedback, getting even better at it, and focused on action. Remove every other state of mind from it. for the people who crack competition, and there was a study that was done, and when people asked, how did you top this particular exam? And for most students, they had the same answer, that I was competing with myself, and each practice session that I did, I bettered myself. It was never external. I was never in the chase of I will be a topper, I'll get 99%, I'll get 98%. Last year, the topper was this. So we all know our best potential. We all need to believe in it first, have faith in it first. If the Mother Divine, if Vishnu, if Shiv has given us this life and the will in a particular direction, it's their blessing, it's their reason. So believe it and then work towards it. And also be innocent like a child, playful like a child, because that's important. Sometimes external validation doesn't come. And then we start feeling not so good about taking on our own journey, right? Because the others don't see it. But the mother sitting within you sees it. Be playful about it. Be childlike about it. Celebrate your own wins. Yeah, sometimes when I do something good, I give myself 5 stars. Why not? Why do I need to look externally to give that as what is valuable to me? So know your journey, be proud of it, be proud of the scars and the struggles because they make you who you are. We sing the glories of Ramji not because he was in pleasure all the time, rather, he was in pain all the time. And his struggles and scars made him so reverent because he kind of went beyond it and went above it. And so it's with Sita Mata. So look within, be in belief of what you can achieve, have faith on yourself, be childlike, be playful, be innocent, be in karma, be in wisdom, learn from your mistakes, grow from your mistakes. Don't look for external validation, always look for feedback. So when somebody says to you that you did not speak that well, now there are two things that we can take from this. One, that this person was darn mean, how did they say that? Oh, we can think, okay, leave it, leave how they said it. What was in my speaking that can be better next time? Maybe something, simplification, this, that. So there's always a way you can take feedback even from a critique, and that makes you better and better. From a critical message, it becomes a critique, and you take the sar and you leave the asar out. Thank you, Mangali. Pranam. Mataji, I want to ask you, when a person is self-confident, someone who has self-esteem, someone who can walk into a room and command attention, why do people call that person sometimes very egotistical? What is the difference between being egotistical and just being a self-confident person? I think for most people, the words that they blurt out, they don't even know what it means. We all are carrying garbage from a lot of uh, thoughts of other people, a lot of words that were just callously and casually said. Egotistical person really doesn't see the other, right? There's a difference between being egotistical and being self-confident. A self-confident person walks in the room as though they have value to bring in the room, that their presence and their voice matters. That's the I, which is without the ego. The egotistical person saying, I bring value not just to this room, nobody else brings any value to this room. I am it, and everybody else is basically not there. So, a lot of the times, confidence is mistaken for being egotistical. And that comes from because the external light, it's very difficult to see the difference. Yeah. A confident person and a person with ego look the same. And that's why we are very quick to pass a judgment. But in this case, if you are a confident person, you know your truth. You hold yourself in the same power that you are. You voice your concerns, you voice your opinions, and then you will listen to theirs and they will see that, oh, I was quick to judge. This person doesn't have ego, really. And if they're still in their own lack of clarity, are unable to see you as confident and still see you as egotistical, it's not your job to change their opinion of you. Yeah, you can soften a bit if you have to, get a point around them, and if it's an important work related interaction, or sometimes in relationships, in other places. But you can't change your confidence just because it dims their shine. Yeah. So you keep the, and most people who are good, who are understanding, they eventually do discern that this is really not an egotistical person. That's why you would see many people who are understanding, they say, "अरे, जब आप कमरे में आए थे ऐसे लगा कि आप तो बात नहीं होगी, आप तो बहुत ईगो वाले हो, और फिर जब आपसे बात हुई आप तो बड़े अच्छे निकले," because their mental image is of somebody who dominated them at some point, and they're coming from that. So, yeah, you let them see that you value them, but if they don't still see that, then it's not your job to dim your shine and cut your height just because they are not able to see the value in your tallness and your structural stature. I just had a question. How does one know what is his or her higher purpose in life? Beautiful. So, a lot of the times, in the way our life today is conditioned, that we have information overload on everything. Yeah, I mean, if you are doing really good at arts, your own people will say, but where is it going to land you? This X person is making so much money, Y person is so successful, this person is this person is that. And before you realize, you're chasing too many dreams that are not even your own. And it gets chaotic. The more time passes, the more you um, get disconnected with your own self, the more difficult it gets. But a lot of internal reflection can take you to that. How? Sit with yourself. What are the things you like? Some people like to make money. Some people like to make memories. Some people like to make other people's life happier. Some people like to sing. No, you know what you are best at and try and live with that moment. Yeah, that's for your career, and then see how higher purposes can be linked to it. For some people, when they give bliss to other people by their singing, if I or anyone who's sad can listen to a really nice song that they like, and instantly their mood changes. That's also a very high purpose that a singer is actually playing, right? A lot of the time, your curve is your higher purpose, yeah, and that has value. So it could be one of the higher purposes all of us have, no question, is to really find oneness with the divine. That's an high purpose we all are basically given the human life, whether that's a non-negotiable, that's not even a question. But in life, we may have different roles to play. My mother's role was one of the most beautiful roles. She was a homemaker, and she made all of us for who we are, all that I am today. It's a lot of reflection of what my mother is. So it's a beautiful life purpose to have, right? So there is no external judgment of any individual, which is of value when it comes to analyzing your own life purpose. It could, if it is that of becoming a billionaire, then so be it. You find then how you're going to get there. You have the potential. And if it's a sports person, then that. If it's a homemaker, then that. If it's a chef, then that. But you have to sit with yourself. And even if it's not a money making profession, it's okay, because who are others to judge for what you hold special? When we were born, when the universe started, money was not growing on trees. So if the god really held money sacred, it would have been flying as river and growing as trees, but it is not. So if that is not valuable to the Lord and to the creation itself, certainly it shouldn't be the starting point of thinking about your higher purpose. It should be who you are from within, and then go forward from there. Thank you. Pranam Mandaji. What I'd like to know is meditation an essential tool for your journey into spirituality? Yeah. And if not, then in your day to day life, how does one remain in a slightly meditative state of mind? Yeah. So, first of all, meditation is essential, but that's not the meditation to be confused with what we get sold as packages today. Meditation, as per the Vedic lens, means being in a state where nothing impacts you, affects you, where you are in the moment, in the present, completely in the bliss state and in the conscious state and in the action state all together. And that's meditative state. So first of all, it is very, very hard to achieve. It's not the first step. You aim towards being in a meditation or a meditative space, but there is no tool externally that can quickly get you there, right? Yes, dhyan helps you, but it helps you concentrate your mind. It's not the same as being in meditative state. Yeah, there is a distinction between that. We loosely use the word tools. This is guided meditation. This is this tool meditation, but those are tools. That's not what the Vedic lens describes it. These are helpful, however, because when you are meditating as pranayama or doing, you're doing your mantra in silence, you are able to consciously reverberate with it. The way to start thinking about meditation is when you're sitting with your mantra or sitting with whichever chant you're working, just focus your brain on the sound mentally and don't move away from it. The more you are going to do that, more your brain will learn and attune itself to being in the present moment without your thoughts strain. Your thoughts are not you. A lot of the times people think this thought has come to me means it's me. No, really not. 70,000 thoughts come to you on, like a flash in a day. And those thoughts are 60 or 70% of those thoughts are never yours. They are some things that you've heard somewhere, some total nonsense, total, completely things that need to be ignored. So mantra guides you into a space where you can be one with yourself. And then you go beyond the mantra as well. And once you achieve that, then you start practicing this in your day to day life when you're working, when you're speaking. Like currently, I'm here, but I'm also in a state of bliss. I'm talking, but I'm also silent. Yeah. And you get in that state slowly. And that's called being in the meditative state. So it is very essential. It's absolutely essential from a Vedic lens, but it's not something that you can just buy off the shelf. It's a lot of hard work. And yes, it starts with mantra, but it doesn't end there. Yep. Thank you. I also wanted to say one thing, that there's Millie who's sitting there. She's my disciple and has come all the way from Delhi. So very happy to see you. God bless you. Yes. Hello. I wanted to ask that if we have to make a choice between Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, which is more helpful for our spiritual growth? Yeah. So each their own. There is in Vedanta all the three lenses, Bhakti, Gyan, and Karma mentioned, and we do not decide these by our own. It's something that is all a disposition of our own vasanas and own gunas, right? If you feel you are somebody who just feels emotional and devotional and totally into, the sounds of bhajans, and you go one with it, and you see unity and all, and you have a lot of emotions, you have a lot of feelings of empathy, then to start with Bhakti Yoga is really good. Similarly, if you're all about action and more intellect and more, rational things in life, then Karma Yoga is a starting point to actually get your brain attuned into a place. If you're all about going further than your mind and body and intellect as well, and know what is beyond there, which we say curiosity, then you start only as Gyan. But you need all three. Yeah. It's not to say that if you don't have devotion, then what is karma for? Yeah, it will go astray. If you don't have karma, then what is devotion for? It will also go astray. And if there is no gyan in the devotion and karma, then it will anyways not lead you to the point. So your starting point depends on your own internal desires and your internal fabric. And we know whether we are very logical, rational, or more emotional, or we are at a balance, or we try to look beyond. Some people as children only are trying to find meanings in the stars and space and everything. So they are naturally attuned towards the knowledge side of things, looking beyond what is most obvious. So you start with that, what your inner fabric is, but you work your way up in integrating all three in different balances. And that is something that gets discovered when you are on that journey. And it's a work in progress, but all three kind of work together. Yeah, and also Pankaj. I wanted to ask about, I mean, you said knowing one's potential, there's no self validation, etc. But there's a huge factor called guilt, which comes in many forms. It could be a good mother, a good wife, a good daughter, a good colleague at work, a good friend. And when you're trying to balance that guilt, there is also something called an emotional side which gets affected. How does one balance it? It's a beautiful question. We all struggle with guilt because when we make a decision, we are basically canceling five decisions. If we are choosing to be present as a mother, then we are choosing in the same time to not be focusing on our work in that moment. If you're choosing to be here today, you may have missed the Devil Wears Prada show if that was something that you were going to do in the evening. So we all have choices and we all have guilt or lack thereof basis the choices we make. So guilt is inherent in everything. The best way to do that is to feel it, process it, but not be consumed by it. Because as a mother, if you're working hard, you're also working hard for your child. You are giving all of your into that work because you want your children to be proud of you, to see their best potential because you saw your best and they can look up to you as a mother. Similarly, if you so decide to stay at home and give your value and time to the child because that's where your focus lies, then there is no guilt because you are giving the child with your life force. So all the time a little work on the guilt that we have and resolving it is important. Sometimes we may have hurt a person unintentionally and we have guilt for that. The best way to go through it, the time that the hurt was caused has passed. You can't do anything about it, but you can apologize. You can say sorry. Make that effort and say sorry. If the sorry is well received, great. If that sorry is not well received, still great because you resolved the guilt and did what it asked you to. And don't make that mistake again in your life or try to be vigilant of it, but don't take the guilt in the journey along with you because a lot of the times life keeps happening to us as well. Sometimes we are not even given a conscious chance. It is possible a lot of people suddenly get into an illness and obviously they did nothing in the real world to deserve it. They're suddenly unwell and there's nothing that explains it. The pain has just landed and completely consumed them. Now guilt, pain and fear further will only take that state down. So, acceptance of what has happened, resolving the guilt, and moving forward is the way. So, don't run away from the guilt, but process it and then move forward. All right. Thank you.
Mataji, thank you. So my question is regarding manifestation. I know it works, but it doesn't always. So then should we blame it on destiny?
Okay. So, every result that comes is part destiny and part action, right? Destiny does happen because if it did not happen, then for the world to be the way it is, it wouldn't have been. However, action is more important because it's in your control. Destiny is something that you can obviously think about, but you can't do much about. Thinking state, not doing state. So manifest, manifest, manifest. When it action, if it works, great. Blame not the destiny, but your action. Give the credit to it. If it doesn't work, then do manifest again and act again. Because while the destiny may have had a play in it, but it's something that we cannot actually do anything about it. What we can do again is manifest and act again. So manifestation works, and the life force within that manifestation is your own action, is your own wisdom. So the people who know that the art of manifestation is just not about मेरे को 1 करोड़ रुपए मिलेगा. It's also about 1 करोड़ मिलेगा, कैसे मिलेगा? चलो मैं कल से काम करती हूँ इस पे या करता हूँ और फिर मिलेगा. या मेरे को आज एक आम मिलेगा. ये तो मुझे मिल ही जाएगा. So, manifestation and action work together, but destiny has a role.